Hi guys, it's Christy, and today I'm going to be talking about criticism, specifically an experience that I had that I wanted to share. So in case you're new here, I realized that I hadn't introduced myself in a while. So I'm Christy Schuler and I am a writer working on publishing my debut novel. I'm in the process of that right now. And on this channel, you're going to see a bunch of content related to storytelling. I do share a lot of writing tips and my journey as a writer, and I hope to inspire other creatives to pursue their passion as well. So I thought for this story time video, I would share an experience that I had back in college. It actually is kind of funny now that I think back on it, but at the time it was actually kind of traumatizing, and I think that it affected me for a long time and created some insecurities in me with sharing my work with other people. Okay, so back in college, I took a class, and it was actually a screenwriting class, okay? So throughout the course of the semester, we were writing a short screenplay, and there were milestones that we had to have finished at certain points in the semester, and we would critique each other's work. So everyone had all these different ideas, different, subjects and different genres and stuff. So there was this one guy, and he would show up late for every single class. Some classes he wouldn't attend at all. So whenever we had these sections due to critique each other's work, he never had his section complete. And so the entire semester went by and this guy never had any work turned in. I learned a ton about, some of the mistakes I was making and areas where I could really amp up my plot. And so I learned a ton just during these critiques and everything. So don't think for a second that I'm opposed to critique, because that's not the case. I was getting a lot out of it throughout the way. But so by the time the end of the semester rolled around, this guy finally turns in his work, right? So by this point in time, we all had each other's finished short screenplays. And we were supposed to read through them and bring our critiques to the class. And I remember reading this guy's work, and I'm not gonna, beat it up or anything like that, but, I kind of struggled with the feedback I was gonna give to him just because it was my first time seeing his work and I'm just reading through the entire thing as a whole. So it was really hard at that point to summarize all of my feedback, but I managed to get some constructive points for him. So we're in class, right? And it's his turn to critique my work, and pretty much the only thing that he can come up with is that it's boring. And he's like, I don't want to be a D word, but yeah, it was just it, and he didn't really have any words except for boring. That was pretty much the only thing that stood out to me. And that was it. That was all of his critique. I gotta tell you a little bit more about this guy though. And I'm gonna really try not to beat him up too much. And it's not because he gave me a negative review. Honestly, these were thoughts that were kind of occurring to me throughout the course of the semester. Just this guy. So the teacher at the beginning of the semester tells everybody that she really dislikes any profanity, that she hates cuss words, that she hates just profane subject matter. She didn't want to see, intense sexual scenes or anything like that. She said just stay away from that. If in the future after school you want to incorporate those things into your screenplay after this class, by all means go ahead and do it, but just don't do it in this class. And she made it very clear. And I know this guy was there when she said it, because I think she even said it a couple of times. And so this guy, when he submits his screenplay at the end, it was littered with profanity. I was like, what is wrong with you? How did that not sink in? Because she made a big statement about it, and made it very clear. And so this guy, F-bombs, you've got all kinds of, pick every letter of the alphabet and he's got a cuss word for that, And she got so mad, because you could tell it really, it it really enraged her because she has a real strong dislike of profanity. And she's having to read everybody's work in order to grade them. And so she's having to read this entire thing like full of profanity. And she got so mad at him, and he acted as if he was completely taken aback. I'm sorry, but like, maybe it's not right for me to laugh at that, but if you're warned ahead of time not to do something and you do it anyway, I'm sorry, okay, so that in and of itself, I think, was just him not listening and just not following the rules. And so I feel like he deserves to be judged for that part. I'm not going to go into, you know, his work and bashing him for his work, because I don't think that's right. You know, we all start somewhere, and we all, you know, learn at our own pace and things like that. But yeah, I mean, he definitely, when I think about it now, this person was not my target audience whatsoever. I would never have expected this person to like my subject matter, you know what I'm saying? So it's weird to me that I feel like we as writers, and sometimes maybe more, you know, newbie writers, tend to take too much stock of things that people are saying when we shouldn't. You know, because there's so many different genres out there. Not everyone is going to enjoy every genre. Like me personally, I really dislike anything that's super violent. I don't appreciate a lot of war stories. I don't appreciate a lot of things that just have a lot of violence and crime and those kinds of things. And that's just not my cup of tea, if you will. So, you know, it makes sense that you're going to have people that don't read your genre, that don't appreciate your subject matter, and you just have to understand that. So anyway, the thing that he said about my work being boring, it's really interesting, because whether or not I actively think about it, that has been a theme for me for ever since then, you know, that I've been afraid that my work was boring. People weren't going to be invested in it, and people were just going to say, who cares, just not really, you know, just not really care about the story that I'm telling or the characters or anything like that. And while I do think that criticism is important, it has to be constructive, you know, like you can't just tell someone that their work is boring. You have to give them specific points. And what I've learned since then is that pacing is very important. But a lot of the times you might find when you're reading something that you're bored, and it's just because there's a particular section that's just dragging a little bit too much. And just by fixing that section and increasing the pacing and making it go a little bit faster, and you can completely revamp your work. Boring is not a story killer, you know? Boring does not mean that your story doesn't have any worth or any value. So it can definitely be fixed. We tend to focus more on the negative feedback that we get than the positive. And I think that's just the way our brains work. Unfortunately, we're just wired to take a harsher, closer look at that negative feedback. But you know, they're both valuable. You have to know where your weaknesses are, but you also have to know where your strengths are. So basically what I learned from this experience is, number one, look at the person that is critiquing your work. Are they your target audience? Are they someone whose work that you respect? Because even if they're not your target audience, if they're a really good writer and they're giving you some very general feedback about your writing style or your writing technique, then you can analyze for yourself, okay, yeah, I respect them as a writer, so I can take this. And then the other thing that I learned is focus also on the positive. Like, yes, you should, to a certain degree, accept the negative. You have to ask for yourself if that is feedback worthy of your time and attention, you know? But also you should focus on all the positive feedback that you're getting, because what you're good at is equally as important as what you're not good at. This leads me to the other thing I wanted to mention in this video. I wanted to make a correction, because I had a recent video where I talked about my publishing timeline, sort of my plans to get my debut novel published. And I didn't really feel right about it. Watching it back and doing a lot of research over the past few weeks, I've made some discoveries. In that video, I said that I was going to hire an editor to edit my novel before I sent it off to any peers or critique partners, beta readers, anything like that. And basically, I was just saying that I didn't feel that I wasn't fully confident in handing off my work to peers before I let an editor go through and polish it up. But what I've learned in the past few weeks, I've been doing a lot more research, and what I've learned is that, first of all, it's just generally not the way things are done in the publishing industry. Your editor is the one that's going to really polish it up and make it the best it can possibly be. But you're wasting your money, I found out. You're wasting your money if you try and hire them before it's in that final stage. Because basically, the professional is going to find things that you yourself could not have found, and that's the whole point, is that you're supposed to spend your time revising it as much as you know how, sending it off to your peers, your critique partners, your beta readers, sending it off to them for more feedback that you couldn't do yourself, and then polishing it up again, and then you're going to send it to a professional who's going to do that polishing and the final touch, and based on their knowledge of the industry standards, they're going to help you and really make your novel the best that it can be. So, all that being said, I just wanted to make a correction and say that I am planning on sending my work to one or more critique partners after I go and give it another pass through and give it another revision. So if you're in the market for a critique partner, if you enjoy contemporary, definitely hit me up and let me know, because I am in the market for a critique partner. And the other thing I was going to say, if anyone who maybe you don't enjoy contemporary but you're still looking for a critique partner, I'm going to leave a video link down below. Brittany Wang is another author tuber, and she made a video about finding critique partners, and she actually made a Facebook page to help connect authors with each other based on their genres and what they enjoy. So I'll leave that information down below. I recently joined the Facebook page, and I'm hoping to find a critique partner soon. But yeah, if you're a contemporary writer or you enjoy contemporary and you're looking for a critique partner, definitely hit me up, let me know, and maybe we can get in touch and share some work and see if, we're a good fit. So hopefully you don't think I was being too harsh on my classmate or making fun of him. I find it kind of funny sometimes how we let things weigh so heavily on us when we shouldn't, and so I just wanted to shine some light on that experience that I had and the things that I've learned since then, the different perspective that I have now. And constructive criticism is great and amazing, and it's the only way that we can learn and grow. However, at the same time, you have to make sure that you're getting it from the right source and that you're vetting your options. So another thing I wanted to say about critique partners, because Brittany Wang mentions it in her video as well, you just want to make sure you're not just accepting any critique partner, just someone who's good at writing. Make sure that they enjoy your genre or write in your genre, and just make sure that you're the right fit before you get too heavily invested in their feedback, because it might not be right for you and for your story. So yeah, that is my correction and my tea time for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new here, please subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.